Donald Trump ya no puede distraer, encubrir ni hacer nada relacionado con tratar de que la gente ya no hable de su escándalo con Jeffrey Epstein. Y precisamente por esa razón la Casa Blanca en este momento está en pánico, porque aunque intenten detenerlas, las sobrevivientes de Jeffrey Epstein están hablando en público ahora mismo. Y esto los tiene fuera de control y vamos a hablar de eso. Ahora bien, no solo las sobrevivientes de Jeffrey Epstein contaron sus historias, sino que también hablaron sobre la lista de clientes y afirmaron que sí existe. Y esta información tiene completamente aterrada a la Casa Blanca. Vamos a hablar de esto, pero quiero entrar rápidamente en lo que dijo Lauren O'Donnell. Esta es una información recientemente revelada sobre una clienta de Jeffrey Epstein, otra confidente de Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, y cómo esto está sacudiendo toda esta historia. Mira el clip, por favor.
The worst thing about it is the laughter. That's the part that the news reports haven't told you about. There was a lot of laughter. They all laughed. And no one laughed more than Ghislaine Maxwell. In 9 hours of what turned out to be casual conversation spread over a Thursday and a Friday in Florida, the single sickest reaction you could have in that discussion of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's sex crimes was laughter, and they all did it. Ghislaine Maxwell laughed the most, joined by her 3 criminal defense lawyers. And their laughter was joined by the 4 people from the Trump Justice Department sitting in that room with a convicted sex trafficker, an indicted perjurer, and they laughed the day away with her 2 days in a row. But that's not in the transcript released by the Trump Justice Department on a Friday afternoon, because it is not a real transcript of what actually happened in that room. No court reporter, no stenographer was allowed in that room. And so this transcript that we have, it's not real.
Donald Trump no se toma esto en serio y, si hablamos claros, nadie dentro de la administración de Donald Trump se preocupa por esto. Es más, la gran parte de los republicanos no les interesa este tema. Actualmente ni siquiera les resulta útil políticamente. Y como ellos dicen, simplemente quieren pasar la página. Ellos creen que todo es una broma y es más, se han burlado de esto. Por eso es tan importante que estas sobrevivientes estén contando sus historias. Y por esa misma razón soltaron una bomba sobre algo que Donald Trump no quiere que sepas, y es la lista de clientes de Jeffrey Epstein. Miren el clip, por favor.
We have some breaking news right now. One of the Epstein survivors speaking at the largest ever rally of Epstein survivors right behind me just announced that the survivors are going to be confidentially compiling a list of names. Since the Trump administration won't release the Epstein client list, they're going to compile a confidential list of names by survivors for survivors, outlining every individual responsible and involved in Epstein and Maxwell's horrific crimes over the many years. They are fighting back. They are making their voices heard. Right now, today, the survivors need to be heard. There are over a dozen survivors here today. Shortly, we're going to have a press conference with Republicans and Democrats from the House of Representatives. I'm going to be asking them questions about what they see happening next. There's a major push to release the files on Capitol Hill, and right now, these survivors are not backing down. Keep spreading their voice, keep sharing.
No hay nada que Donald Trump, James Comer o Mike Johnson hagan para que las sobrevivientes no armen su lista de clientes. Y obviamente dentro de esta lista va a estar el nombre de Donald Trump. Esta es una lista por si acaso en la que van a estar los clientes de Jeffrey Epstein, o sea, personas que están involucradas con estos crímenes sexuales. Así que ya no sirve de nada que Donald Trump indulte o no a Ghislaine Maxwell. La información se va a hacer pública. Y quiero que revisemos algo de esto porque es muy impactante escucharlo. Mira, por favor.
Worst part is that the government is still in possession right now of the documents and information about that could help me remember and get over all of this maybe and help me heal. They have documents with my name on them that were confiscated from Jeffrey Epstein's house and could help me put the pieces of my own life back together. But I don't have any of it. And I know the same is true for many of these women. We are here to support this bill today, not only for transparency, but for the American people. But if the government is going to release these documents to the public, describing the crimes committed by Jeffrey Epstein and others, The least that they can do is give me my documents that they have about me. The other survivors deserve the same respect from our government. While identifying information must be redacted to the public, it is equally important to provide the victims themselves with unredacted information. I will never forget when the FBI agent showed up in my door in 2008. Jeffrey Epstein hired a lawyer to represent me, or more like to represent him, I like to say. I couldn't ask any questions, and I had no idea what was going on. I was terrified. Until today, I think most of us are still terrified. I thought somebody was going to kill me. I thought something was going to happen to my sister or my mother. It went further out to even maybe thinking something would happen in Brazil with my family. And then one day, the lawyer said that everything was just gonna go away. Like nothing happened. I didn't need to testify. When I asked him why, he gave no explanation. That was it. So why? Why was I never called to testify then? We could have saved so many women. We could have saved so many lives from being abused. Why did he get away with it in 2008? Why was he able to go on in the abuse with hundreds of girls after the Florida investigation? Why didn't they let me testify to help stop him? Our government could have saved so many women, but Jeffrey Epstein was too important and those women didn't matter. Why? Well, we matter now. We are here today and we are speaking and we are not going to stop speaking.
You have a choice. Stand with the truth or with the lies that have protected predators for decades. I am no longer weak. I am no longer powerless. And I'm no longer alone. And with your vote, neither will the next generation be. President Trump, you have so much influence and power in this situation. Please use that influence and power to help us, because we need it now and this country needs it now. Thank you.
I'll answer that. Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
What does it feel like emotionally to hear that?
Devastating.
It's being gutted from the inside out. Not that I would know what that feels like, but I imagine it's the anxiety buildup with the depression and the survival mode, and then your nervous system goes limp and ironically is shot. And it feels like you just want to explode inside because nobody, again, is understanding that this is a real situation. These women are real. We're here in person. To say that it's a hoax is just not... Please humanize us. I would like Donald J. Trump and every person in America and around the world to humanize us, to see us for who we are and to hear us for what we have to say. There is no hoax. The abuse was real. Now, what goes on behind closed doors, I can't speak for that. What happens around the world politically, I cannot speak for that. But I am here with all of these women, including our attorneys, and I would be more than happy to meet with him, and I will meet him halfway.
You are a person who has chosen to serve in an elected position to stand up for those you represent who cannot always stand up for themselves. We are those people. We are the Americans that you promised to protect, and we need your help. Please, President Trump, pass this bill and help us. Make us feel like our voices are finally being heard. Thank you.
The Washington establishment is asking the American public to believe something that is not believable. They're asking you to believe that two individuals created hundreds of victims and they acted alone, and that the DOJ has no idea of who else might have been involved, that nobody else did anything that rose to a criminal enterprise. The American people know that's not true. Now, the Speaker of the House just offered a fig leaf to my colleagues. They're going to vote on a non-binding resolution today. that does absolutely nothing. I appreciate the efforts of my colleague James Comer, who's leading the Oversight Committee. They may find some information, but they're allowing the DOJ to curate all of the information that the DOJ is giving them. If you've looked at the pages they've released so far, they're heavily redacted. Some pages are entirely redacted. And 97% of this is already in the public domain. So I'm calling on my colleagues, be one of the next two who sponsors this discharge petition. I think it's shameful that this has been called a hoax. Hopefully today we can clear that up. This is not a hoax. This is real. There are real survivors. There are real victims to this criminal enterprise. And the perpetrators are being protected because they're rich and powerful and political donors to the establishment here in Washington, D.C. So today we're standing with these survivors and we're giving them a voice, and I want to close by thanking them. They are brave. I hope they encourage other survivors to come forward.
Donald Trump no se preocupa por esto, no se lo toma en serio, piensa que es una broma y todos los republicanos son iguales, les da igual este tema. No quieren abordar el abuso sistemático que los llevó a esto. Quieren gritar y quejarse de un sistema de justicia de dos niveles, cuando su queridísimo líder es responsabilizado por todos sus crímenes. Pero no quieren hablar de cómo los ricos y muy bien acomodados pueden salir sin ningún problema de todas las cosas que hicieron, cosas ilegales y perturbadoras. Y claro, ellos no tienen que preocuparse porque saben que Donald Trump y todo el movimiento MAGA siempre van a estar dispuestos a ayudar a los multimillonarios, porque ellos son las personas por las que realmente Donald Trump se preocupa, no por la clase trabajadora, no por la gran mayoría de estadounidenses. Esto pasó con Jeffrey Epstein, pasó con Ghislaine Maxwell y está pasando con Donald Trump una vez más. Pero bueno, yo cumplí con mi misión, que es informarte como lo hago absolutamente todos los días. Como siempre te digo, para mí lo más importante es tu opinión y me encantaría que la dejes en los comentarios. Además, si te gusta el contenido de política estadounidense, te va a encantar suscribirte al canal, ya que subo videos todos los días. Mi nombre es José Alvarado, soy economista y estoy comprometido a informarte diariamente. Nos vemos en el siguiente video. Adiós.